There we are. I told you it wasn't very long anymore. I meant to have a countdown. So, hello, everybody. Yes, we are live. And I'm just going to put this up here. There, that's working. Man, when you don't go live for a while, you get out of the, the flow of where everything is and how to do everything. And anyway, welcome everyone. If you are here, it's Bucket List Homestead, and my name is Lynn, and my guest tonight, I guess I'll go this way, is Tanya from Night Fall Homestead, my BFF that we've actually never met in person. But someday, one day, when the kids aren't so demanding.
And animals. Kids and animals.
And animals, yes. So I'm just going to say real quick, yes, welcome to the live stream. And if you are watching this in the replay, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I always forget that. And I've been trying. One of my goals this year is to make sure I remember to say that. So I am just going to check Love and Land every day. Thank you for coming. She put on a pot of coffee and what kind of cookies? Because I haven't had a cookie in 10 days. Nothing. And I'm going to say I cheated and I weighed myself today. We're not supposed to do it till the weekend, but I was just curious. I've lost 3 pounds.
Nice. Good. That's keeps you motivated.
I feel it. I know it's crazy to say that, but I feel it like I notice I don't.
No, it's not.
I don't feel bloated is what it is. Yeah. So I put a question. I guess I can't see it now. At the top of the chat, just asking people to let us know what their goals are for 2024. And I'm going to assume you have to remind me of your names. I don't have to keep calling you Wild Nature Farm, even though I love the name. I'm trying to be better about names, but my memory stinks. She's going to clean out some apple pie filling from 2021. Turn them in. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, my goal is to get rid of at least half of my apple butter. I have so much apple butter.
Lots of potatoes that I canned that I really have to use. I don't know why I don't use them. We eat potatoes all the time, but they're like out of sight. They're in a thing, so I never even think about them.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm telling you, and something like a homemade apple crisp, to me, that's a great gift. Someone gives me anything they've baked, I'm all for it. So, batch going to my daughter and her family too. She's a teacher and I also send. Oh, nice. That's what I do. I send a lot of stuff to David's work and I'm going to be sending more stuff because I have some new recipes I want to try, but I don't want to necessarily keep all of that in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, hello. Well, I'll let Tanya tell you about her storm in a minute. Our storm, it looked awful for a few hours. And then at one point it turned completely to rain. We warmed right up here. We got into the high 40s Fahrenheit, which in January is insane.
Right.
And when we woke up this morning, where the dogs go, their pen, we couldn't even see the grass yesterday when we went to bed because it was so covered in snow. It was all grass today when we woke up this morning. Yeah. So the majority of it's gone. It's been raining off and on today because it was mild. Friday, by the looks of it, we are going to get hit with a doozy. And the temperature
stuff that we just had,
I think so.
12 inches.
Yeah. We're supposed to get about 8.
7 more between tomorrow and Friday. 7 more inches.
We're supposed to get 8 on Friday. And then though, the temperatures are plummeting. Yeah, so awesome. It might stick around. So other than that, but I'll let you. Tanya got hit pretty bad the last few days.
Yeah, we're in central Iowa, so it started out they were 4 to 6 inches or whatever, and it just kept climbing and climbing. They let school out super early on Monday, and we still haven't been back to school yet. We've got 12 inches. When is the snow supposed to start again tomorrow?
It's overnight tonight and then again on Friday.
Overnight tonight and then again on Friday. We're supposed to have anywhere from 4 to 7 more inches. So they're not there. I don't think they should even go to school tomorrow, to be quite honest.
It sounds like they might not have school tomorrow.
But what if it snows a lot overnight?
It's not supposed to do much tonight.
Luna's mom, my son's girlfriend, she went to her parents' house yesterday. And her mom didn't even get into our driveway, just kind of pulled in off the highway to drop her off. Yeah, it was her mom. And she got so stuck. And Amazon came today to drop off some dishes that we got, and I was like, "Oh, that's ballsy coming into this drive." It troubled us so many times, and it's just bad.
Marty, that's also one of my goals. I have a ton of all these. I had, I love my herb garden, and a lot of my herbs did amazing this past year. I'm looking at them like jars of, and I keep going for my bagged convenient tea every day. So that is a goal of mine too, because I want them gone so I can fill the same jars up this year.
Yeah.
I don't want to add more.
I have so many I saved a lot of beet greens, and I got some chickweed. I've got tons of oyster mushrooms that we got and freeze dried them. Like, I have to use them. Like, otherwise, what's the going out and getting them,
Yep. I'm just writing down everybody's names so I remember better. I don't want to bring up the cancer card again, but I'm serious. Chemo, it's actually called chemo brain. My memory is awful. The good part about it is books and movies I saw probably in the last 12, 13 years. I don't remember reading or seeing them, so they're new to me again.
Just always be entertained forever.
Yep. So a lot of my goal this winter is to eat down the freezers, can up some of the proteins. Yes, especially with all the storms we have coming, and down my hometown right now in Maine is flooded. Like the pictures I saw tonight on Facebook from friends and family, it looks bad. It is so bad, and they're without power and everything.
Oh,
and I'm like, yeah, it's bad. They got huge winds and rains, and the ocean surf came crashing up onto the land. It is bad, especially obviously the closer you are to the ocean. And I'm just thinking, even though we have a generator, I still want to get more of the, and we have special insurance actually for our freezers. We actually requested it because again, been there, seen it happen to family members. We've had it happen where we've lost the contents and we didn't get anything for it. So we specifically said, I think they're insured. I think we have 3,000 total.
That's good.
So, but even so, I would still cry over all the waste.
How much time it took to do all of it.
Yeah. So my goal is also I'm just kind of trying to get a little bit more into the pantry challenge a bit, and then sit down and think about what I want to can and get it out. And I do want to can more of the beef up because we loved having the canned beef for shredded, beef for anything. It was much more convenient, much more, and it's delicious.
I love meats in general. Just having them, just have to warm them up. It's so easy.
Yep. Oh, that's cold. Minus 40 Celsius. That's cold.
Not yet. I'll take this foot of snow over the super cold.
Yeah. We got about a foot of snow yesterday. Wow. Oh.
Share the snow.
Is it Vieta? You said it's like Velveeta. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Velveeta. Vita. Okay. Vita. And that's unheard of for Alberta to not have snow. I mean, I don't have an excuse. I just have a crappy memory. That's who I'm married to.
Same, me too.
Oh, hey, Rem. Thanks for coming in. Whoa, we got a lot of people in here tonight. This is going to be good. So I'll just give everybody, I like to give about 10 minutes or so, give everybody a chance to come in and stuff. And 7:00, according to the analytics of YouTube, this is the time where the majority of my subscribers are online. So we'll see.
I'm definitely on YouTube right now in the evenings. I remember that Korean lady that I sent you the link to. And Ricky's like, why are you watching this lady? I'm like, I don't even know. I had her on the TV out in the living room when I was folding laundry today, and all of the kids were sitting there watching her with me. She literally is just going about her day, but she's so cinematic, and it's just really cool to watch, I guess.
I have to get a chance. I'm so behind on so many of my channels I like to watch. And
watching them, I just like watching her. I can't stop watching her stuff.
Oh, hello, Molly. Thanks for coming in. Hardly ever manage a 4 p.m. live. So yeah, I haven't been doing morning lives, though. I have to say my morning lives did well. I sometimes had as many as 20 people, which I know that sounds sad because there's other people who have like hundreds of people on their lives. And quite frankly, I don't know if I could handle hundreds of people.
South Homestead has like thousands of them sometimes. I can't, and Danny and Wanda will be like trying to read through the comments. It would be impossible, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you can have the slow mode, which does slow things down, but I mean, still trying to, because I don't want to leave anyone out. I think if you're taking the time to send me a comment, I at least have the courtesy to try and read it, but it's, so I can't imagine if I had that many, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm like the Wizard of Oz. I've got all kinds of things going on all around me. So I've got like 20 tabs opened on my laptop right now on things I'm working on. And
I thought earlier, I said, why do I have so many tabs open? Ricky said, as you're old. Like that's an old person thing.
Oh my gosh. I'm usually working on all of them and I don't want to close them. So to me, it's laziness. I don't want to close them and have to bring them all back up. So hello, Dave. Yes, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's also our garbage day.
It feels like Sunday here just because we've been home. So I did all the meal prep and I prepped so much stuff today. Potatoes and sweet potatoes and all my vegetables and got rice ready. Like it just feels like a Sunday. Well, I did Sunday things.
For all of you on right now, Tanya did not have the greatest holiday because she was sick as a dog. Your whole house pretty much was, right?
Yep. All of us got it except for my oldest son, Jay. But I kind of think that they're the ones that got us sick. And he's like almost never here, and neither is she, but they share rooms with the boys. And those two were the ones that got sick first, and then it just trickled out here to the rest of us.
Yeah, and the baby didn't get sick.
Yeah, the baby did not get sick.
God. So, yeah, so one great thing that happened to Tanya in 2023, she became a Grammy.
Yes.
So, a little bit earlier than you had thought. He was supposed to be an October baby.
Yep. Yep. And so it was very I was thinking it was almost like traumatic for several reasons. First of all, Raylan was only 17. So that alone was well, what is happening? Because even though Raylan's really good and she helped me with all of the kids, so she's very knows a lot about babies and whatever, it's still your baby, your child is having a baby, so that the event of him being born was very and then he has the LCAD, so he was in the third percentile. They brought him early because he was her placenta was dying and he was not growing at all anymore inside of her, and so it just became a scary situation as far as his health goes because we have to feed him every 2 hours and a newborn, new mom who's 17, plus this scary, metabolic deficiency. And it was a traumatic experience.
And you guys, and you have to wake him up to eat. And everything that is in you is you'd never wake a sleeping baby. If they're sleeping, let's let them,
and he pick it up, he wants
he wants to sleep. Yeah. So, God, God love her. I pray for Landon and every night, making sure he's going to be okay. And it would be a lot for any new mom, especially your first baby, So, that's pretty good. But the video he sent me yesterday, he's gotten so big. He's long. He's long.
I know. He is very long. He even measures really long. And both Raylan and Chase are short, so short.
Both my kids were always way off the percentile for length, and always they were always so. And every nurse and doctor we would have, they'd be like, "How are these babies so big when you and your husband are so short?" Right? And look how tall they are. Our kids are taller than us. So.
That's.
So I'm just going to read here. Congrats.
Thank you.
Lesson. Thank you. Hello, Bev. Thanks for coming in. That is such a thrilling time of life. So yeah, that there seriously opens up a new wing in your heart of love you never knew you had. My mother always says that.
My other kids too, they'll be like, "Mom loves Landon more than us." And you're like, "That's true." I do love him.
Yeah, my mother's she goes, that she goes, it's the weirdest thing, she said, because she goes, she loves my sister and I, like, she says, and I get what she means. Like, I love, and she says, but man, she says, having these grandbabies she says, I had no idea how much I could love, so yeah.
Really awesome.
So that's great. So, Jean says, congrats, Tanya. So that's great. So I didn't really have a huge topic for tonight. I just, one, I didn't want to be on here by myself again because it is so hard to be here. Yeah, if I have enough people in the chat, it helps because I can kind of keep things growing. Anything they're commenting.
Talking to yourself, like you can't hear, is definitely weird.
And I mean, I know David and I touched on like our plans and everything, but I like to hear other people's plans too of what they're going to have because, God help me, it might give me some more ideas. Like we don't need any more, but to add to our ever-growing list. But you and I did a thing last year, and because of Landon and everything, we didn't get a chance. It's just been crazy time for you guys and us. We did a thing last year. Do you remember where we graded our gardens and how we thought we did that year? Well, we didn't get a chance to do that last year. So I thought, okay, better late than never if we can remember that far back.
I was just thinking that, like, I need to remember how I did awesome this year because I think I focused on things like today, for instance, I prepped sweet potatoes and potatoes that we got out of the garden, and we eat so many of the potatoes and sweet potatoes and green beans. Those three things I focused on the most, and I got so much of all three of those things, and it was so much better for me instead of trying to grow cucumbers and tomatoes and like all the things. Even though I had a couple of tomato plants, I did not have cucumbers. Like, I didn't have to focus anywhere else. And this is all stuff that we're still eating into January, February, March, clear up. We're going to start growing again, hopefully.
Yep. I mean, and I think that's something you and I both talked about. We were going to change, and we did last year is, I stopped feeling guilty about trying to grow every darn thing. Like, I'm like, you're not really a homesteader, or you're not really a prepper, or you're not real blah, 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 because you're not growing everything. And I'm like, BS, that is not true.
Yeah. Because your time is the most valuable thing that you have. You're like exerting your time in areas that don't really matter to you. Like if you're growing foods that you don't really care about or like you're just wasting time.
I think what shocks me the most is, I mean, like I said, I wasn't going to grow any tomatoes, and then I found all those tomato seeds, and I'm like, darn it, now I got to grow some tomatoes. But I did not plant anywhere near what I used to. And I'm shocked because as I'm getting ready for this pantry challenge, the bags of tomatoes that I managed to freeze off of those few plants, when I go to finally get those into tomato sauce later here this month, it's going to be a lot. Oh, yeah. Photobomb.
Did you notice someone else on there?
Did I notice someone else on there? No, who's on here? Is somebody on here I should know about?
Maybe it's David. He's watching
Is
us.
Grace on?
No.
Oh, is Aiden?
He was.
Well, he's not on here, so give me a second.
I didn't see him comment anyways.
Yep. Molly, yeah, we're doing, because we're trying to work on getting things done for when we put the house on the market, whichever that's going to be, either 2025 or 2027. Whichever plan A or B we end up having to do. So that's why I mentioned it last week. I just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, hello, Karen. No, you're right on time. We just started talking. I see somebody. I wonder who that could be. That is the new star of all my videos. I have gotten so many comments about his little thing he recorded for me.
Yeah, I like all of Aiden's little inserts to like or subscribe or whatever. But I like seeing all of them. I like when David and Grace are in there. Like even the dogs, I like watching.
Yeah, he's a ham. But I had mentioned we had mentioned last week, David and I, that we're going to have to. We're pulling back on some of the homesteadery things. Wow, that's hard to say. This year, so we can put our time and our funds into getting the things on our checklist that need to be finished for the house.
That's so weird because we have not talked about what our goals are going to be, and this is exactly what my goals are. Because we moved into this house, it was I'm not going to say it's like run down, but it definitely needed so much work to it. And plus we were like modifying so much, and I've just left so many things just like hanging. And so then I'm just generally like, the kitchen's still not done. And the nagging like has to get done. So I have to make time for those things.
Yeah. Well, what we did was we've been having date nights a lot, and we've been enjoying them every Friday or Saturday. Usually Friday because we take Aiden into work, and then we just go do whatever, and then we don't have to come all the way back home just to go back and get him. We just stay out until it's time to pick him up. And because we're in the pantry challenge, and because we are trying to do better with our eating, we were like, well, we don't want to go out to eat. But what we did was we went to all the home improvement stores and all that and took pictures of all the stuff we want to do, because we don't want to do it on credit. We're going to try, because that's the other thing. We're trying to pay down what debt we do have from a lot of things we did have to put on credit. And we want to, so I want to start pricing out each project that we're going to do. And also keep an eye on, because April's the big renovation month when all those things go on sale too. In the fall.
Why is that? Why?
I guess because it's spring and they figure people are starting to renovate their houses. The snow is melting. And I just know Home Depot always has, here anyway, in April, they have Black Friday in April, and it's renovation stuff, you know, ceiling fans and trim and all that stuff that you're doing. So flooring. So we went around and did all that. And that was fun, actually, looking at things. It's weird, though, because the things we were going to do when we were going to stay here and the stuff we're going to do because we're moving, we've had to totally, because we're not going to obviously put in as the same things anymore, because I'm not going to be here to enjoy them. And most people will take out that stuff and put their own thing in anyway.
I mean, is it really going to make such a difference in like perspective, like people, prospects that are going to, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to, like, I'm not putting my time in that unless it was going to make a huge difference on the value that I could get out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I just don't think it is, because there's such a housing crisis here that houses are selling regardless.
Right.
But I mean, the fact is
regardless, it was full of trash and like literally like drugs out in the barn and stuff. Like there was a guy that like was squatting out there living, and we still bought it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you got, and like you said, but you've had to put a lot of love into your house and stuff. So, and we just, you know, so yeah, so some of the things were changing. So we went around and priced that. So, I mean, I'm a little sad. I'm still doing my garden. Like that's not going to change. I'm still going to grow my garden, and David is going to build me some new raised beds for my herb garden. I'm totally revamping the herb garden. And if I only get 2 years to enjoy it, well, that's 2 years I get to enjoy it. So. But yeah, so that's, you know, we were going to do turkeys and more meat birds. We've decided we're not going to do that.
I was so excited for you to get turkeys.
Yeah. It's just too, like because we have to focus on like the back deck has to be completely done. And that is like mega expensive. Like it's crazy to think out of all the things we have to do, because we're going to finish some things in our bathroom. We have to put new floors in the kitchen, the living room, this room, the kids' room. Like the deck is still the most expensive thing. Like that is just mind-boggling to me, and it needs to be done this year. Because are you
gonna be sad when you leave? Like you did all of these things.
I told David, I've already been talking. I said, I know the day we pull away, I will cry. I know we will, but I also know, like if we find the dream homestead, like where we want to go, I also know that I'm going to be super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to catch up on green beans, are one of my favorites to grow. Yeah, I am. That's one thing I'm going to grow more this year. I didn't grow enough last year at all.
Question them, like if you plant green beans and then like in 2 weeks plant another row of green beans, and 2 weeks plant another row of green beans, like you will have green beans flowing out your ears. And not just green beans, but like the potatoes and whatever else you're planting. Like you don't have to do it all at once and then just stop. Like you can garden.
I got another troll here on my chat.
David's the troll.
Part of homestead is develop a local community. Yes, that's it. And I say this all the time. Our local farmers are our neighbors. They're literally our neighbors. We get our beef from a neighbor. We get our pork from a neighbor. I get like extra vegetables and stuff that I'm not growing, or even if I am growing, I'm always thinking I didn't grow enough, so I go get more. So I'm blessing our neighbors and helping them out, you know. And so this is probably very controversial, but I don't even know how many seeds I'm going to start myself this year. I shouldn't say that. I'm thinking about starting seeds like right in the ground this year.
Yeah, I'm not starting any freaking seeds. I'm not doing it. We have to hold each other to it because we get all excited like,
I know. The catalog started coming
full of stuff.
Yep. I mean, I have my let pot, and in tomorrow's video, you all see the update on that, how well that's growing. And I did think I could probably start a few things in that, but it's not even so much the growing. It's the hardening off. They die on me every stupid time.
Right.
And
so
last year I tried.
I want my tomato plants to be teeny tiny tomatoes, and everybody else is already picking tomatoes. You know what I mean? And so if I can't grow them and start them and successfully get them outside without killing them, I'm just going to buy the starts. They're $2 for a.
I know. And I can actually get organic starts at a lot of my local private nurseries, not like the big box stores, but like my local neighbors.
Because we have to have time to build our deck and to finish.
Yeah, I do. And the hardening off, like literally I at one point last year, Grace was helping me and we were bringing in the starts again because it was going to be too cold at night and I had to bring them back in. I brought them all in. I sat down on the floor and I cried because at this point we had already done it, I don't know, 6 or 7 times, and they were looking horrible. And when I took them out to start hardening, they were stunning. They were stunning. My loofah looked beautiful. Like my onions were looking amazing. Like, and my peppers, like, I'm like, oh, look at these. These are the best I've ever done. And then I lost like 60% at least.
And like the earth knows, the nature knows, the seeds know when it is time for them to grow. So regardless of what we're trying to do inside, it's not going to do what it doesn't want to do until it's time, until it's ready.
And I'll tell you, our May and Junes have been hit or miss here the last couple of years. They're either beautiful or they're like literally had snow June 4th.
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, it didn't last, but it was that cold.
Yeah, right.
And yet our October was like gorgeous. And I'm like, this is it. I'm going to start things in the ground. I'm not going to panic and think, oh, my zone, I got to start things inside because my first frost date. Nope, no more. I might invest in some row covers.
Yeah.
Extend my season into October where I am going to start things in the ground instead of starting them inside. Mm-hmm. And we're actually taking a date day and going to one of my favorite nurseries, Richter Herbs here in Ontario. A friend gave me a gift card and they have a lot of herbs that I've never grown, and you can't get them as seeds, but you can get them as starts from them, and they're organic. Yeah. So we're going to take a 2-hour drive. We're going to go up there for the day and I can't wait to go in there. I have to remember, I only have so much room.
It'll be fun.
So yeah, Aiden, he's excited because this is what we want. We want a lot of property because David does want to get a horse, and he wants to be able to ride the horse on our own property without having to leave. So I think we're going to end up, we're thinking now, because we either find the land that's perfect. It's got apple orchards already. It's got, blueberries growing on. It's got everything, but the house is like a complete, like they even say the house is uninhabitable. Like you're going to have to tear the house down. Or we find the perfect house and it's like on 2 acres of property, and which wouldn't be bad if we didn't want to be,
so we're going to want more than that.
Yeah. So, and like David said, if he wants to be able to hunt on his own property, you can do that in New Brunswick. As long as you have a certain amount of acreage, you can hunt. Right. So he would like to do that. And so we've found a lot of property for sale that's very like dirt cheap. Like, I mean, so we're thinking about doing like one of the manufactured homes.
That's what we have.
I was going to say, and then we can go in, we can pick up what we want. And like I told my mother today, I'm not going to put my money into like granite and marble countertops. I'd rather have like a wood stove for when the power goes out, and I want a gas stove. I want a gas stove.
Get 2.
Yeah. And I'd rather have my money in that than in like fancy countertops and fixtures and hardwood floors. I don't need hardwood floors. I'm fine with vinyl floors. They're better if you have animals anyway.
Yep, that's true.
So yeah, we're still like kind of kicking around what we're gonna do, but she's not the one that got me canning. My mom did a bit, but my mother-in-law basically taught me to cook and can. That's amazing. I grow pole beans because my space is limited. I actually am going to do some pole beans this year too.
So I beans and bush beans, and I grow sunflowers in with my garden stuff, and my pole beans go up my sunflowers. My sunflowers are huge and strong, and they hold them. And then I have bush beans that grow all along the bottom of them.
Yep. I grew Blue Lake pole beans. That's what I grew last year for the first time. I liked them. So I have more. So I'll be growing them again. We have a plan A and a plan B. Plan A, if things work out, the universe and God and everything, it works out, we'll be putting the house on the market in 2025 after Aiden, right around the time Aiden's getting ready to graduate high school. If it doesn't align, we're looking at possibly 3 to 5 years. So it really
seems like forever though.
I know, but it won't be because there's still so much to do and to get ready and stuff. And
it does fly. Even like us talking to each other, meeting each other. I mean, that's
been 2 years.
It doesn't seem like that, you know?
I know. Yeah, 2 years ago during the pantry challenge.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? So, cameraman or purple beans. My friend Mary Lynn, I don't know if that's the kind. She grows purple beans. They're beautiful.
It's the purple green beans. Cog Hill Farm, Jason and I don't remember her name. What's Jason's wife's name? Anyways, they grow the purple beans, the green beans, and they're awesome. I want to try maybe a couple of those just to see.
Yeah. I've bought them from like farmers markets, like already grown, and came home and cooked them, and they were good. But they don't stay purple when you cook them.
Oh, they don't?
No, they don't. So I eat them raw. Anyway, I eat a lot of my beans raw. My green and yellow beans. I'll be out in the garden and eating them.
I want more carrots. More carrots.
Okay, you know what, Jane? Maybe I'll try that this year because I did have, like, it wasn't a huge harvest and they weren't really big, but I considered it a success because it was my first year. My Canada crooknecks actually grew. Maybe I will grow some with my apple trees, and then they'll have the apple tree to grow up.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like starting the seeds. It's fun. It helps kind of over the winter blues, and you check, of course, the day you plant them, I'm checking like 3 days later to see where everything's grown. But it's the hardening off. So stressful. Yeah, I'm gonna buy starts, and I am gonna start a lot of my seeds. Like even things they tell you have to start now indoors. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance, and I'm gonna throw them in the ground at the end of May, and God willing, they'll grow.
They don't grow right away. They will. They will grow when it's time to grow.
And I think if I concentrate on that, I'll have more time to help them grow too. And like I said, if I get row covers, I can help them extend into later into October. That's my thinking. We're going to see. It's going to be a total experiment, but I'm going to try because one, I don't want to buy any more raised beds. We've got more than enough tied up in them. And quite frankly, we're taking them with us.
I absolutely take them with me. I would not.
Unless by some miracle, the place already, if we end up finding a house with the property and they already have them, then I'll leave them. But I mean, I'll fix it all up so the dirt's all nice for them to plant a garden in the garden build. But the actual metal, they're not cheap. And we have a lot out there.
It's because they're expensive to make.
I always do start. See, you all are my people. You all do start.
I love the process of growing them, but we can do that outside without making a big mess and taking up space and using up all of our time.
Yeah. So we're that's why I'm revamping my herb garden, because I also want to concentrate on like especially chamomile, because that's one of the ones I use a lot because I not only drink it but I use it in lotions and things. So I want that to almost have like a good section of the new herb garden just to itself.
My chamomile out of this world next year because it's been like 40 degrees here until now. Now it's 28, but my chamomile is already had started growing because it had been so warm or whatever.
And my.
Huge. Like my patch was like a 2-foot wide little patch.
Yeah, you had a lot of.
It's like everywhere. It's like spread all right there. Which is
remember
awesome.
how I was complaining how like what happened to my, and then all of a sudden midsummer when everybody else was dead, mine was exploding. I have like 2 full mason jars this big full of chamomile. Like I'm like, what was I complaining about?
So much chamomile. I need to get into the herbs and stuff and use them.
I love them.
Have them, you know.
Yeah, I love growing them because one, they you see your work quick. I find they grow fast. Yes, Aiden, we've already talked about this. You know, Dad mentioned he wanted to get a horse. My husband David grew up with horses, so
I want horses someday.
Yeah,
and we already have horses, furry horses outside.
It was fun finding the dill all over in our horseradish. Yeah, and. Sounds like a good, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then we can get one level. We won't have any stairs because, you know, you kind of have to think we're not doing this at 25.
I'm only 40, 3? Am I 43?
You're like me. I always have to ask David how old I am.
My main goals when we bought a house, like I do not want stairs. I don't want to go up them. I don't want to go down them. I don't want things on them. Like I don't want stairs. So this is the best.
Well, we're just thinking too, because, you know, David has a lot of arthritis and knee problems and things. And, you know, if we don't have to worry about stairs, that means that's much longer we can stay in our home, which we hope we can stay. Yeah, we're hoping. And if we build something like that, it won't be as expensive. We're hoping we can afford to build a little tiny home with its own electricity, its own plumbing, and then the kids could either share that until they can save up or guest visit. You know, they'll have a whole place to, so because you can get them built for around, I mean, depending on, again, you can get really fancy with them, but if you go with, you know, the bare bones and it has what it needs, around 22 to 25,000, I mean, they can get up to 70 if you go really crazy.
No, but still, I kind of want a tiny home. Jake and I see them all the time. I'm like, I want to live there. I want a tiny home.
They're cute.
Cool.
I just couldn't handle. I have so much stuff. And it's not because I'm a hoarder. It's because when you're a homesteader, you have stuff. Like, I don't know how.
Like, hopefully some of them will move out. And then we'll just have Callie, Ashton, Ricky, Memphis. Yeah. We'll just have 4 kids here. So that will be like, and they'll take animals with them. So that will be amazing too.
And I mean, you know, that'll go by quicker than you think too. Before you know it, you know, the other 4 will be out. You know?
Well, I think we're stay. And my plan is Memphis is going to be a Major League Baseball player, so he'll he'll buy us that awesome house that we really want with all the
No, it's cute. Her grandchildren loves picking the purple beans. Yeah, I can just imagine that. You know, they see the color. So I actually said Tanya's grandson, with the things I made, I found actual like farming baby books. I'm like, how perfect is this for her grandson?
Jake and I have found actual like little kid, what are those called? Power wheels?
Yeah.
They're like ATVs with a little trailer and has little buckets and little shovels. Like he can haul the wood in the water. Like he's going to be put to work and he'll be.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, the purple beans turn green when you cook them, so they just end up looking like green beans.
That's disappointing. Still cool though. I want to still try growing.
That's cute. See, Tanya, you could do that. They call them Grandma's magic beans because they turn green when cooked. That's probably a good way to get them to eat them too. Like you could eat magic beans.
That little, and now they don't care about any of them. They just want McDonald's every day.
Yeah. I've never heard tell of them. I'm writing that down. October beans.
What are October beans?
It's as fresh as a green snap bean, but you can also dry bean or can. That sounds cool.
I still haven't done dry beans yet.
Oh, we've talked about this. He's heard us talking and what we want to do and why we want so much property. He's just either being funny or he's typical 16-year-old and he didn't hear anything that didn't involve him directly. So Yes,
October.
that's great idea. You figure your purple beans, when you're blanching them, as soon as they turn green, you take them out because you know they're blanched enough to freeze or whatever. So yeah, I did, and I'm going to tell you, I hated it because I'm not a winter fan to begin with, and part of the problem, believe it or not, was finding the right kind of jugs to do this in, because I know the milk jugs are popular. We don't get milk in jugs here in Canada. We get it in plastic bags, 3 plastic bags. Yeah. It's just the way it is. There was actually, because I looked this up because the kids were wondering why it was different. When we went to the metric system here in Canada, it was because of the way the measurement went, that 3 bags was equal to what the gallon jugs were or something. It has something to do with changing over from the metric system.
So your milk, your fridge right now is in a bag.
Hold on.
That's what
I'm going to have David. Yes, I'm going to have David bring the milk so you can see it.
And that gets weirder and weirder every time I talk to you.
Yeah. So that's part of the reasons, just finding the jugs or whatever. And the other part is it just didn't work for me. And then going out, I just could never, like, it's just, I couldn't.
Winter sowing is literally the same as putting your seeds in the ground, and they will do the things when they're ready to do the things. Like, it's literally
that's why I'm going to invest in some row covers. So if it does get really cold in May or June at night, I'll cover them up to protect them. But I didn't have much luck. I have a friend who does it and loves it, and like, I'm so happy for her because it sure didn't work for me.
No, my brother and I did it one year, and I think I mainly wanted to do it so I had like some content for my channel because it was new, and I would not recommend it unless you like have some really weird growing conditions normally.
Yeah.
Have like a big garden area. You know what I mean? Like I just do it unless you didn't have another option.
Yeah. Marty, because I wrote it down. I saved a lot of chamomile seeds. I save way more than I need, but I plan on sharing. So like,
I take mine when I'm like picking the ones that I'm saving and the ones that are like not good anymore. I just like take them and then like do this and just kind of blink everywhere.
And then I just left some on it. I finally got to the point where I can't pick anymore. I can't pick anymore. I promised myself I wouldn't fill another jar because I've already got 2 jars, and I just let them. But then again, I'm digging it all up this year to redo the herb garden. So it probably wasn't but I saved a lot. So I do have a lot saved. So they'll probably come back anyway.
Right? It probably will.
Yeah. There's always something. Always something. That's why I made the big girl decision this year that I wasn't going to hate on winter like I usually do, because I was going to respect it and take it for what it is, a time to rest.
Yeah, because we need to rest. Like, we work so hard in the warm months. Like, we just are nonstop. Even if it doesn't feel like accomplishing anything, like, we're doing the things.
Yeah. And I was burnt out in May last year, and that's never happened to me. And it was because of the seed starting. Yeah. I just in the trying to harden off and get things going.
I was kind of concerned about you for a minute, like.
Yeah, I was just. I was just like, so I'm like this, and I felt like a failure, right? Because I'm like, no, I'm gonna try and bring these back, and then we were building the garden build at the same time. So I had that because I'm like, this has got to get built. It's got to get built because things have got to get planted. Or we're going to miss out on every.
Right. It would be like the opposite of being stressful at all. Yeah. Because all of us do it because we enjoy it and like it's relaxing or whatever. And we're making it like way too fussy.
Yeah. And that's what I said to David. I said, this has turned into not me enjoying it. I said the garden build, like I was so giddy when it was done, and I was so appreciative of what David and Aiden and I did. It was beautiful, and I loved it. And I was like, I have to remember this. So I'm so looking forward to it this year because it's all done. All the beds are already filled with enough dirt. I don't think I have to add any more dirt, just add some nutrients. But I mean, which I did do at the end of fall, but I'll do some more just to be able to go out. They're all ready for me. I can just go out, plant them, do my little, like I've always said, this is how I garden. I plant as much as I can. I grow what I like to eat, and I pray. That's how I garden. So
I'm like the latest gardener, but like, is that even possible? Like, I'm so persnickety about so many things, but I just throw seeds out and like, let's see what happens.
And you have great gardens. Like you have, and you freeze dried. You freeze dried a lot of stuff last year.
Yes.
So,
stuff. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's what I just, David's just saying, he's, and you can like, if we build the little house, we don't need to have 4 bedrooms.
Right.
I might even be able to get away with, we were thinking 3, but I might be able to get away with 2. Well, I want a craft room.
Right. I was going to say that.
I want a craft room that's mine. I want, like it's set up. Everything will be on the walls the way I like. So we might do 3 just, because I hope to have guests too.
Right.
Because we'll be closer to family and close friends with us, and I want them because right now we don't have any place for anyone to stay if they come here. So
goes on the couch.
There used to be a convenience store. We haven't been to it in forever because it used to be right by the base where we lived on base, our house. So we haven't gone to it. You used to be able to get milk still in jugs there, and you could bring the jugs back for a 25-cent deposit when you brought them back. I don't know if they still have it or not. They did still have it, but you can get it in cartons still, the smaller amounts. You can still get like 2 liters or what we would call half gallon. Boy, it's been a long time since I've lived in the States. Yeah. So you can still get them. So we have, well, there you go. I guess not all of Canada is not in plastic bags. Well, I'm glad to have my no-till garden. And we have, and I'm telling the raised beds is the way to go. Like what a difference that was last year with the weeds. I mean, I still had some, but it was nothing compared to what it used to be.
I finally gave up on the weeds. Like we have bindweed in our garden, so we have to keep that at bay. But it's not like it's a lot. It just like spreads. So once you get a hold of it, you can get rid of it. But all of the other weeds, I just was like, I'm just going to let it happen. Otherwise, I would literally be weeding still. I would still be weeding.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I have, because the problem is I have the weeds in my herb garden were horrible because that's just been right in the ground. So that's why we're going to revamp it so I can enjoy that as much as I enjoyed the raised beds. And Dave was just going to build them for me, like out of some wood. We're not going to like spend money on, because we've got lots of scrap wood around here, and I don't care if they're fancy looking. I just need them to hold dirt and plants. So
not looking like our garden fence. It's literally junk wood. It's a big piece of poop, and Jake hates it, but it's my favorite thing on this whole property is my old rickety garden fence.
Yep. I'm just so, and I mean, this is why we want to move too, because I want to grow pumpkins and like have people come and do like a little pumpkin patch and have the little ones go through and pick what they want. We won't charge anywhere near what I get why they have to charge what they do. I get it. I totally understand, because they're employing people, they're paying the minimum wage, and our minimum wage here is really high now. I get why they have to charge $40-$50 for a big pumpkin. I understand.
Wait, real low? No. Just grow your own pumpkins.
I know. I know.
Pack it.
We didn't do it. We didn't do that, but I'm just saying I understand in a way, but part of me is also like, holy moly.
Like, how can you feel okay charging a family that much for a pumpkin?
Yep. And that's not, and then, I mean, then you get into the blue pumpkins and the fancy pumpkins, and they charge more for them. And I'm not kidding. You can see pumpkins going for $40-$50 at some of the U-Pick places. No, it's crazy. and I wanted to grow pumpkins so bad last year, but I don't really have, I don't know. I just don't have the
So
space.
much space.
And David's like, if you grow them in the ground and a few places where I could grow them, he says, how do I mow? Because
Just
then
mow
they're
around
going then they're growing across the lawn, like he said, and I can't mow there. And then it gets so, yeah. So it's,
But like, why do you need to mow there? You don't need to mow there.
well, I mean, there's the only spot that there's a spot where they could grow, and then the rest is all lawn. So as they're coming across,
Those, like our birdhouse boards that we did.
oh yeah.
Mow around wherever it was growing. We just mowed around the vines.
Yeah, boomerang kids. I mean, this is
Get to boomerang, but they will.
but this is why we want to build that little house, because our kids also have, not worried so much about Aiden, because he is a little bit more, that's the word I'm looking for, not high functioning, because Gracie is high functioning autistic, but he's a little more outgoing and a little less introverted than Grace. So we might need to have a space for her. Oh, I lost her. I think she just lost her internet. Oh, there you are.
Because I'm backstage. There we go.
There you go. Like we have to face the fact that she may have to live with us for longer than we thought.
For Ricky to like be here, because she's the kid that's gonna be here, not because she like can't or won't, or maybe she will. Maybe she'll get swept off her feet and get married and have kids and move away. But I feel like if any of the kids are gonna stay here, it will 100% be Ricky.
And I was talking to a friend who also has a child who's high functioning autistic, and he has a job though. He's a one step a little bit, but it'll come for Grace. But he has a job and stuff, but he has no interest in getting his license at all. Like, and Grace and I think Grace might be more comfortable when we do move, because it'll be a smaller community. So learning to drive, it won't be like here with double lanes and triple lanes. And anyway, and like she said, but she goes, Lynn, it's no problem to have him, because she says he's not like difficult to have home. And that's the thing. Like she's not, we love her. Like she's a joy to have. Like she's not like a pain or anything. So it's like
totally cool with Ricky being here. The others, my two oldest ones right now, they have spouses, and one of them has a baby, and they all have animals. Like, I need my house back. Like they're like the gremlins that I gave food at midnight. Like, it's not just my two kids; it's now like 5 people. You know.
Yeah. And unfortunately, with the way the economies are, like Aiden's 16 and he worries about this all the time. He's like, Mom, I don't know how I'm going to afford to live on my own. I don't know how I said, Aiden, honey, you're 16. Take a breath. I said, as long as Dad and I have a place to live, you guys will never be homeless. Like, we're not, we get that. But the fact that he's worrying about it at 16, because he's like, I'll never be able to afford rent, Mom. I
think about that. Like, when I moved out, I did not think about that. I took what the money I had, went and got a place, and was like, I guess we'll see what happens. And I've been moved out ever since. But Jay is definitely like, Mom, I can't even afford the things I have right now. Like, how am I supposed to afford rent and lights and water and Wi-Fi and all the things? I'm like,
yep, I know.
Gotta try.
Just to have food, rent, and a car. The heck with anything else.
Like good money. I'm like, Jake does it. Jake pays for all 11 people to be here. Like, if Jake can do it, you can do it for just you and Luna. Like, you can do it.
I said to David, I said, it's a good thing that we don't run our household the way our government is, because our government, our town has raised our property taxes. They're going up almost 7%.
I don't know anything about our property taxes. Jake does all of those things.
And I'm just like, this is after they've already gone up. We are now, with this new hike, we will be paying triple what we were when we bought our house 10 years ago.
Why?
Because the cost of everything has gone up. No, I'll tell you why. Because they don't know how to work with what they have. Like all of us who are on budgets and have to live within how much money we got, they just, and I get, they said, oh, inflation and more people need help. And I get that. But at the end of the day, our wallets are not never ending. Like there's no money tree in my backyard that I can just keep going and picking money off.
I mean, if there is one, I'll gladly plant it. I will
I'm looking.
for it to grow here.
They can all shovel. And you're right. If there's, I fully believe if they're staying with you, you're darn right. They can be shoveling.
This last few days, the boys were put to work for a long time.
Yeah, I grew the butter Canadian crooknecks on a piece of cattle panel that we bent into a trellis last year, and it held them. They grew.
My trellises have been the damn sunflowers. Like these sunflowers, everything, even our loofahs, our big heavy loofah gourd plant climbed up the sunflowers, and that's what they trellised on.
Calves out. Don't get wrong, I'm still not a fan of people.
None of us are.
But you do it, bud. You do it because you want to have a car. You want to be able to, you know. So he was just talking that he might be, it's hard for him. And there are times he comes home and he's a bit overstimulated and had a few triggers at work, but we work through them and he gets through it. We're proud of him. He's doing it. Like, and he was talking tonight and he said, Mom, he said, I might have to go apply. He was nervous about applying to like McDonald's because they are so busy. But now all of our McDonald's, you walk up to a machine now and order. And all you have to do, the people who are working, they call out a number. Yeah, so I said, Aiden, I don't think it's going to be as busy as it used to be. So he's thinking, because he knows he can probably get shifts there.
The person that takes the brunt of the like peopling at McDonald's are the managers that are. And that's why they get paid what they do, you know?
Yeah, they, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get my channel in trouble. I will just say, I agree with you. And that's all I'm going to say. Because then I'll also get riled up and angry, and I don't want to do that. I already did it 3 times today about stuff. So, but, yeah, he wants more shifts and he knows that he needs to be getting more shifts to make more money so he can start saving for car and insurance.
And McDonald's, good.
Yeah, well, I mean, our minimum wage here is $16.60.
That's good, right?
I mean, it is. It's not enough to live. What's sad is it's not enough to live on, but it's a lot of money for a teenage kid who doesn't have any bills.
Our minimum wage is $7.75 here.
Yeah.
Oh, $7.25, Jake said.
But your cost of living is a lot lower.
That's probably our cost of everything is lower. You tell me price up there, and I'm like, what?
I know, but like for a kid who does not have to worry about rent and stuff, it's a lot of money.
Ashton, 2 hours a day before school every day, and his paychecks are like $100 a week, and that's plenty of money for him.
Yeah. Hello, Annette. Thanks for joining. Self-soothing should be a homesteading skill. It is, yes. Yeah, because there are times.
It should be everybody's skill. Everybody should, because we're so like go all the time. Even if you're not meaning to be, that's just how.
Molly, you'll have to remind me. Where are you? $20 an hour. When I was a kid, the people making $20 an hour were like the wealthy people in town. You know. So yeah, that's crazy. So gosh, we're already an hour in. I should ask you, what do you have for goals that you want to get done this year, Tanya?
Mine is I've been kind of thinking, you know, I watch my niece during the day. I kind of want to maybe not do that because I have so much stuff to do, and it makes me feel bad because I know that I barely charge them anything to watch her because she literally is really good. She watches TV, you know, like she's cute. She's sweet. But I have to, plus I have baseball. I have to be able to do the things for me before I do the things for everybody else. Plus now we have Landon, and I don't know what that looks like during baseball and gardening, and I just need to make the time to do the things that need to be done that make my heart happy before I can do the things for everybody else.
You do. You have to, because then your bucket runs dry and you've got nothing for anybody.
And that's 100% where I was. Like,
I know. I could tell. That's why I wasn't bugging you a whole lot there in the fall, because I'm like, you've got so much on your plate.
I do, because I have so many people. You know, there's 11 people that live here now with Landon. Plus, you know, the animals aren't really a big, huge burden, but I don't do the brunt of the like feeding and watering and maintaining the animals, but I still am the one that has to make sure that those things get done. Like, Jake, did you do this? Boys, did you do that? Did you bring the eggs in? Like, there's a lot that my brain has to filter every single day. And I need to do things that make me happy too, not just everybody else doing whatever they want, you know?
Yep. No, I agree. Yep. I always, it's not selfish for a mom to have a little bit of time, because you're a better mom. Yeah. Right. And you're a human being. Just because we're mothers, we don't stop being human, living, breathing.
Right. And like, if my house is like the way I want it to be, because this is where I am all the time. I want things to be nice in the way I want them to be. I want to have the adequate counter space. I want to have a washer and dryer that does the things I need it to do. You know, like, and maybe I sound like a brat, I guess. Like, I was just bitching about our pots and pans. Like, I want better pots and pans. And I'm like, I justify this to Jake, but like, that's something that's going to help me do everything. Like, literally everything.
I did a video last summer because I found myself, I was starting to feel, I'm like, gosh, I feel like I'm always wanting. But when I look at the things I wanted, I wasn't like wanting clothes or furs or jewelry, or, you know, I was wanting things that in the long run actually benefit everyone who lives here. You know, so it is.
You know, like, I need things to, it's like being at McDonald's and not having a fryer that works properly and one of your task machines. Like, it would make your job really hard. And that's how a lot of the time.
And I'm like you, like, I'm a stay-at-home mom and a homemaker, and I love it. But if I'm staring at all these walls all, you know, days in a row and being here, I do. I mean, it's not because we have company, because nobody ever comes here.
People to come here, like, please don't come to my house.
I want it for us. I sound like, I don't mean to sound like I don't want to say loser, but I can't think of another word right now.
I'm so cool with not peopling, like,
I'm
just okay with that.
We just don't have, my community is not physically here. My community is out here. It really is.
They were that earlier, like, homesteading is like supporting the community and like maintaining connections that way. Like, we just don't. It is us, but we have a lot of people here too, so it's not like it's just Jake and I,
right?
And all of our kids, you know, there's a lot of moving parts here.
I'm envious of the people who talk about their community, and you know how they and I'm like, oh, I'm always so and we talk about this in my group of friends I have too, who are YouTubers, but they're also friends, right, and homesteaders, and they talk about how, gosh, we wish we lived closer so we could go take turns on the weekends and help each other with some of the big projects.
I can say that I would not, because I don't have time to do that.
Yeah, you know I mean, you're busy. I mean, a lot of us are at a different stage of life too, with kids and stuff, so that does make it easier. Yeah. But I mean, I will say, and part of it is it's very hard for David and I to ask for any kind of help, and a lot of that is our military, you know, life. Suck it up, Buttercup. We were never around family. We never knew we didn't have anyone.
Needed help. I mean, I cannot tell you that I could ask to come help us. Not that we would need help, because we have 11 people here, so we have the help already.
You have a community in your home. You've got I mean, don't get me wrong, Aiden, he has been, as he's gotten older, he's a huge help, and Grace absolutely helps too, because if we're busy outside, Grace takes care of my housework for me. She gets laundry done. She gets she helps her way too. Yeah. And I'm grateful, but at the end of the day, we still are only the few of us. And I say to David all the time, when we do move, we have to set aside some of the money from the sale of the house for a little tractor. And he's like, yes, because you can, and I don't, it's not, that you can't do homesteading. You don't need all this stuff. You can do homesteading without all the tools, but I'm not going to lie. Some of them, you know, especially as you get older in life, there's some things that just make things easier. They do.
I want like a golf cart or an ATV because I constantly have a basket and a bucket and a trowel and a rake and my cup of water and like my phone. Like I have so many things that I'm trying to like haul. I spend more time going back and forth, like moving things when I could just take it with me on my little whatever, you know?
I do love our four-wheeler and having the different attachments we can get for that to turn it. That helped us a lot with a lot of the stuff last year. Like, and knowing that if we could get one of those little tractors with the bucket end on one end and the little loader thing on the other, like that will be, especially if we
give land and rides.
Yeah, if we get a horse anyway, we're going to need something to help move bigger bales and stuff. Like that's just, there's just no way. Like, I mean, we're going to need that. But she has a great question here. Is a diamond ring really necessary to get married? My daughter is 6 years into her marriage and she agreed with me. No.
I have no ring.
I do have, I will say, I have an engagement ring. David did get an engagement ring when we were married. And when we were married, oh my gosh, is that 10 years old? It is. When we were married for our 20th, and I had just gone into remission the first time. So it was kind of a celebration of that. He got me let me see if I can put it up here, the past, present, and future diamond. And I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. In my wedding, I absolutely love them. But that's like the last, other than my cross. He got me my cross for our 25th anniversary, and I love my cross. I'm not a big jewelry, and I have my mother's ring. I did get that.
Jake knows that when he gets me a ring, if he gets me a ring, I don't even know if he'll get me a ring. I probably, first of all, won't wear it, like maybe ever. And it better be diamonds. It better be something that if I lose it in the garden or it gets smashed, I can just go buy another one. Like for a lot.
Yeah. But I'll play devil advocate. If that is something that's important to you to have, then there's nothing wrong with that. Is that, if that's what you think is important, then my mother, I love her, but she's a jewelry girl. Like she loves her jewelry, and her diamond is her birthstone, and she does like diamonds and stuff. And I'm not saying I don't like, but I don't like,
I like diamonds. I just don't want them. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just, I'd rather have a freeze dryer than a diamond ring.
Or a horse or a tractor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but there are, and that's the kind of woman I am. There are women who like the jewelry and the clothes, and that's fine. That's the kind of woman they are.
Like gives them a, like, he respects, loves, values me so much that he got me a really expensive ring. Like, and I think that the younger generation puts a lot of emphasis on material things like that, you know?
Yeah. I just, yes, Bev, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. Bev's actually coming to Trenton. She lives in British Columbia, like on the other side of Canada. But I have a few pots, good pots bought on sale, spotted some thrifting. It makes like easier cook. If they're better quality, it makes it easier all around.
Yeah, I'm constantly looking for them when we go thrifting. But what I usually find is that they're just as expensive if I would just buy them new. Yeah.
I mean, there are some fake diamonds now out there that are beautiful. Like they look like the real thing.
I would take Tanya or white topaz or whatever it is.
I love topaz. That's my birthstone. But I'm just gonna. It does shock me that something like. And Aiden says this all the time. He says, it's a rock in the ground, Mom, that they polish. Why does it make it? I said, because somebody somewhere says it's worth that. Yeah. That's the only reason. Because I mean, literally, it's no different until someone says it's worth it than the rocks we get out of our garden.
Right. You know? Somewhere on our yard out there somewhere.
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
Yep. And we do that a lot for a lot of our gifts. That's how we got our electric fireplace. It was a anniversary, both our birthdays and Christmas gift a couple of years ago.
I love gifts like that. There's some people that really would be disappointed to get stuff like that, but I put a vacuum, a hardwood vacuum in the Amazon cart. Like, man, I should have done this before Christmas. Then Jake could have got me this. But some guys might be like, I'm not buying her a vacuum for Christmas, because some women would be very mad about that.
I will say that I've always said, you don't buy a woman a vacuum unless if the woman says, like, literally, I want like a vacuum, then it's okay. But don't buy it for her if she hasn't asked for it.
We sweep so many times a day, like this little vacuum, and the kids can't use it. I got the KitchenAid mixer, the pots and pans, like they literally cannot touch my stuff anymore. They just break everything. So they just cannot touch the things.
This is our son. He has been begging for a Doberman. He wants a Doberman puppy. And we told him when he moves out, he can have all the dogs he wants.
Lily looks like a Doberman. She could be your Doberman.
Oh, he says Lily's like a Doberman. He says it'll be just like getting another one of her. It's not that bad or whatever. And I'm like, when you move out, bud, you can have as many animals as you want.
You should get a Great Pyrenees.
Well, we are talking because we said how when we move, he's dying. His dream dog is a Great Dane. He has wanted one his whole life. He already has a name. He will name the thing, everything. Like he wants one so bad. And I'm like, can they be used as a guardian dog?
I mean, probably you could probably train them.
But they're just big giant teddy bears. Like I don't, but I guess if you train any dog, but we did say when we move, because we will have more property, I told David, I'm having a guardian dog. I'm not gonna, I said with more property, even with our little property, we need one, but bigger property, I said, we will definitely look into getting one. So we did that last year, birthday and 40th anniversary combo, new fence, see? Yeah. and that's what, yeah. And for the longest time, I thought there was something wrong with me because that's the kind of woman I was, but I pretended not to be because I didn't think, that's not how I'm supposed to be in this, in 1998 or 2000.
So like, look at my shirt. See this? Look, this is my shirt that I'm wearing. Like, hair. Like, I don't want anything nice and pretty. I just want my house to function and look nice and feel cozy. And I don't need diamonds. I don't need anything.
No, we won't. I'm not sleeping with that thing if we get one. And if we get a guardian dog, they don't typically sleep in the house.
And Holly, and she thinks she's an inside dog.
Yeah. And then you've got your others who don't like being inside because they want to be working. Yeah. Like your Bella, she's like.
Even this last storm, it happens every time it storms. We go through all the things, get them hay. We board up the kennels. They have a shed. They have all the shelter in the world, dry, warm, out of the draft. And these dogs will be in the snow, laying in the snow, getting snowed on, and that's where they want to be.
Yeah. And it's like I had an uncle who had a husky. And people used to think he was cruel. The thing would cry when they would try to bring him in because he was too hot. He wanted to be outside. And they're all, oh, it's so cruel. And I mean, the thing had a house nicer than, it was, but he did not want to be in the house. He was miserable. Absolutely. The only time he liked being in the house was the summer where it was cooler in the house.
I'm in the kitchen cooking only because they know I'm going to give them a piece of bread or a biscuit or something, but then they want back out. They don't want to be in here.
Well, no, I remember watching Jessica there when her from Three Rivers, when they bred their guardian female 2 years ago and almost 2 years ago. And she had a hard time because she is so ingrained on doing her job. She hated being in the house with her puppies because she wanted to work.
That's how Bella had her puppies. Like, she wanted to be outside. She would whine to go outside after having her puppies. But then she would realize out there, like, I have puppies that are in the house. Like, and so she was constantly back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah. See, yeah, they adore they're bred for, when you think about where they come from, Alaska and stuff, like, that's, Huskies. Yeah. But, no, we thought about getting one more dachshund before we leave here from the breeder. We got Lily, just because she's got one there. Her name was Peach, and she was 7 months old when we got Lily. if we could have taken her home, we would have. I adored.
Have her?
She was a beautiful dog, and she was like blonde and white. I've never seen a dachshund with these colors.
Oh yeah,
Like, she was beautiful, and she's long haired, and the breeder, we're still in touch. Yeah. She sends us pictures. She sent us a picture of her underneath the Christmas tree, and she's full grown now.
you should get her.
And I said to her, I said, can we take her? And she's like, no. But I've told her, I said, when you breed her, please let us know.
Yeah.
Because we might we might have to get one of her puppies. Because
this is how it happens. You'll have 11 dogs before you know it.
I know her. Honestly, I would have a ton of dogs if we had the space and the money for all of them. It's the vet bills that kill us. But we would get another one right now with Puggy. I mean, Puggy's going to be 13 this year, and I don't think he's forgiven us for bringing Lily home, quite frankly. So.
Oh, this little brat. I hate her.
Yeah. But she was, her personality of this dog, like she was just, I've never seen a blonde and white dachshund before. She was beautiful, and she just was the sweetest little dog.
That's awesome.
I mean, all their dogs were I have never been like, everyone puts breeders down, but there are good breeders out there. And these people love their dogs. They still have their original dog they started breeding with 15 years ago, Grandpa Stubbs. And when he retired, they didn't find a home for him. They kept him.
I think there's a lot of like poor backyard breeders.
Yes.
But for the most part, I don't think that people's intentions are to be ill when they're breeding animals. Like sometimes it just happens. Like we've had that happen. We did not intend for it to happen. And you just have to do the best you can. And I think a lot of like, there's so many animals in the shelters and stuff.
Yeah.
So people are like, how could you be having
and
more?
We did try. We tried going to shelters, but we knew we needed, because we had kids. I didn't want to get a dog that I didn't know how they were going to be. And with our other dog, Pug, we were worried about bringing an older dog in. We didn't know how he would accept a grown dog. And we did try. We tried, but for like 3 years, there were hardly ever any, which was a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It was a good thing. There was hardly ever any dogs. Now they're back up to like overcapacity again.
Yeah.
So, because I've seen a couple, they actually had a Great Dane from Great Dane Rescue that was looking for a home. It was 1.5 years, but she had a ton of health problems, which wouldn't bother me, but we can't afford. I just, the cost of vet care here.
She was there. Like she probably was with an owner that couldn't afford to take care of the way. And so like, but that's not my fault as a breeder. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it sounds harsh, but you have to look out for yourself. Like this, everything 2024 needs to be about looking out for yourself, regardless of what everybody else thinks about it. It's just,
Yep. I know. That is one good thing about getting older. You do start realizing who matters, what matters, doing your own thing. And if other people don't like it, it's okay. You don't have to like it, but you don't have to hate on me for it.
Right.
You know, like that's the main thing. Like you had mentioned on one of the comments, you mentioned how, because my word for the year is fearless. I'm approaching everything this year fearless, whether it's trying a new recipe or growing something new or trying something with my channel or just, I'm going to approach it fearless. And I love how you said we also need to stop saying, you know what, we can disagree and be friends and not hate one another. Like we need to go back to that. We've lost that. We've got family members in my family who aren't talking to one another anymore over ridiculous stuff.
It's always ridiculous stuff. It almost all the time is ridiculous stuff that any of us, me too. Like I'm just as bad as the next guy, like judgmental and like voice my opinion when who cares? Who cares what that person's doing? Because I really don't care. Not enough to even be commenting about it,
Yeah. I will say we have had, David and I in our married life, we've had 3 dogs now, we've had a lot of dogs. Our first 3 dogs is what I meant to say. They were all rescues. Our first, we didn't have kids. Right. So and just, with my kids in our life, I couldn't take on a dog that does need a lot of patience and time to get past their issues.
Or the kids' dad and I had a Rottweiler when I was pregnant. Before I got pregnant with Jay, we had a Rottweiler. And we got him as a puppy. And shortly after that is when I got pregnant with Jay. And I was so scared of being home with a brand new baby and a toddler Rottweiler, like, and so I was like fearful of him hurting Jay, you know.
Right.
So we gave him up to a shelter, like, and you feel terrible about it, but I'm supposed to like risk my baby's like life because I don't know if I can, you know, keep him safe, you know.
Yeah, I know we judge too much sometimes. I mean, one of the Facebook pages I'm on is a local cat rescue, and the other day she put up a thing with two cats that were surrendered, and she said, "And please, before you all jump, they were surrendered because the people who had them, they adore their cats. They had to make the choice between feeding themselves or their cats."
Right. Like sometimes there's just circumstances
and they were devastated. And she said, these are not by any means abused cats that have come into our care. They're already fixed. They're loving, you know, they're 3 or 4 years old. They're bonded pairs, so they need to go together. And she said, literally, the people were in tears when they finally had, but they've done everything they can. And so I mean, there are bad
and
people.
You have the guilt of people judging you for that is even like, that's terrible.
Yep. And I can only imagine, you know, what they probably felt, because I know what it would
still feel. They'll feel that forever. They will never feel better about.
No, and it's awful that it's, you know, it's come to that. But and one of the shelters in Peterborough was saying a lot of the animals they have right now are from people who loved them, but they had to make a choice between feeding themselves and their kids or keep feeding the dog. Like they just couldn't, you know.
Get rid of my animals if it meant that we couldn't afford to eat or feed the kids.
Like
get rid of them, and I would feel awful about that.
I mean, I would do everything I could first. I would I'd give up something that, you know, I don't necessarily need because, you know, whatever. I won't buy that anymore, so I can buy dog food. But eventually, if that didn't work, yeah. Hello, Thomas. Thanks for joining us. So, one of the things I like, my title of my thing is Plans, Hopes, Dreams, Reality. And I talk about this a lot in different videos, but how I was guilty of this, how I wanted to do everything at once.
Same.
You know, and part of that is social media's fault, because you would see everything on Instagram and everything looked beautiful and perfect, and like, how are they doing all that? Like, how do they afford it? And they've only got one income and all this stuff. Because the truth is they didn't do it all at once.
Right.
They may say they are, but they don't.
Or they have different circumstances, like they've got family help or family resources, you know, or family money that they're using or whatever.
Yep. And it can make you feel like you want to give up or whatever. But I think the last couple of years, especially these last couple of years, David and I, especially me, because it's more me, I have tried to make more realistic goals of what we can do. And like doing the meat birds last year was a huge step forward for us, because that wasn't something we have done. I certainly never did it as a kid. Right. And I wasn't sure I'd be able to do it when it came down to it. I shocked myself. And Aiden was a rock star with it. Like,
are you gonna do meat birds again or no?
No, we were gonna, but like David's like, Lynn, how are we gonna do the deck? How are we gonna do these other couple things if we do this? And I'm like, we can't. We just have to say we can't. We just, you know, as much as I hate to say it. So, but we know when we move, we will. We will absolutely. And I'm hoping to never actually buy chickens again. I'm hoping to do incubation and do our own, or let the chickens raise them themselves, and ducks, a couple of ducks, and our turkeys and stuff. But at least we know we did it. We know what we won't do again. We know what we will do again. So when we do again, we'll have a little bit of experience. We won't be total newbies at it. But it's like, you know, like wishing we had a tractor. I cannot. It would just come in so handy, because the physicality of some of this stuff homesteading is so difficult for me with some of my issues. And it doesn't matter if I'm 50 pounds lighter or not. My issues are not going to go away when I lose more weight. Some of them are just, and it's frustrating. And I hate that I always have to wait for David for some things.
Oh, I do that. Like, there's some things, like sometimes I'm very like, I guess, old school, but there are things that I will not do. Like I'm very tomboy and can do them, but I have a husband and and they're going to do them. I will go cook the supper and make the whatever, clean the house, and they're going to do the things that I'm not trying to do, like scoop poop in the yard. I will never do that. I just will never. I can't.
Yeah. I do it when I have to, but yeah, exactly. That's what, they'll be smarter. They'll less work for us, let them do and we want to have it set up so the mamas and the chicks won't be near the other chickens so they won't hurt them and stuff and that just requires more time, more money of building. And we just don't have it this year. And we do have neighbors. And in order to get more chicks, you got to have a rooster. So we can't do that. We just can't do that. I mean, we could buy incubated eggs, but then we're still relying on buying incubated eggs, or fertilized eggs.
Like I could send you a dozen incubated eggs or whatever, but that doesn't, they're going to be doing the things, or fertilized eggs or whatever.
Yeah, fertilized. That's what I meant. Yeah. And we do have an incubator though. I know it's crazy because we're not planning it, but it was such an amazing deal this summer, like crazy price. It was like $200.
Go into
it was like $259, and Amazon days it was on for, oh my gosh, I think it was less than 50.
Yeah,
it was crazy. And I'm like, and of course I went into research mode and I researched the heck out of that one, and I read all the comments, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going for it. It's still in the box, but we will have it when we need it. But I just I think reality sometimes can be a hard smack to the face. And I think not this past summer, but the summer before, when we were grading our gardens and everything.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a smack to the face. Like all the starts last year, all the starts, like I had starts everywhere in my house. Like our living room was covered because I had to, once they started getting bigger, now I got to repot them. And I have like
so much work
of them.
So much work.
Yeah, it's just, and it's not that I don't mind hard work, especially for something like that, because the payoff is so good. But I just, to have that hard work and then to see them all die when you freaking are trying to hardening them off.
And then you can't get to them because of baseball. Like we spend so much time during baseball. Like I just can feel it in my soul that they're failing while I'm not here,
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky that, I only have the 2 children, but I have needy children. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I say that not, like I have children who have, I know one's 20, but it's funny. I thought at this age,
like
they need me less, but I swear to God, they need you more.
I know, right? And I got my kids, like my house when they were little was spotless. Everything was clean. Like there was a couple of toys here and there sometimes, but like everything was clean, everything. And now they're big kids and they can pour their own stuff and make their own food and wipe their own butts.
You just get all the dishes done. My sinks are all wiped out because I always like to clean my sinks out before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll walk back into the kitchen and there's 2 bowls and a glass, and I'm like,
and it's
this sink was clean 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Rats anyways.
And I love how everybody says, oh, you'll miss that, when it no, I'll never miss that.
No, I won't.
I'll miss them, but I won't miss the messes they make.
Correct.
But yeah, I just, so people might think, oh, you're a stay-at-home wife and mom and you don't have little ones anymore, but I have a busy day, and running a social media business, because that's what this is. This is a business. It's a lot. I put more into this than any job I had outside the house.
We're not even talking like editing videos, just to put engagement posts up or pin something on Pinterest. Like we're talking hours out of your day.
Yes, it's a lot. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I enjoy it more than I thought I would, which came as a surprise. But it's you have to set that. When I did Vlogmas.
No, you are crazy. I couldn't do it.
I am crazy. But I also kind of I told David, I said, I've kind of gotten, I hate the word to use addicted, but I got to a point where when we reached Christmas Eve and we were done and there was like 3 days I didn't film, I didn't know, I kept thinking I was forgetting. I kept like, am I forgetting something? What did I just something, and it felt weird.
I know that feeling because of when I used to do unique stuff. That's 100% how it was, because it was so every single day it was part of my day, the same song and dance every single day, that when I didn't do it every day anymore, it was just like you have to figure out what to do. Like, what am I doing with my day?
Yeah. So, I mean, so I'm busier in a different way than I used to be when my kids were little, I guess is the thing. So, and it is hard balancing that. So, reality can be quite the, pain in the butt. And we do get caught up in seeing, I'm terrible about comparing myself to others sometimes. I know it's a bad habit and it's one I am working on. David says it to me all the time. He says, Lynn, you have to stop comparing whatever it is, the way you're gardening, the way you're putting out a video, the way you're, raising, whatever you've got to stop comparing yourself to them. And I mean, I think it's just human nature. And it's just so hard though, because I want to do everything. Like in a perfect world, I would love to grow all my food. I would love to have a beef and
people, like if you're doing the same thing as everybody else to the same caliber, like you're not going to have your own people. Everybody's all the same. Then you're not finding the people that are true to like your actual interests and your skill level and whatever,
Yeah. I say this all the time. I think people break into my home in the middle of the night just to leave dirty clothes, because I have no idea why we have so much laundry for 4 people.
And Jake and I use a lot of laundry, and I feel like I don't change my clothes that many times. Like we had more laundry than the kids today.
It's crazy. And my kids are responsible for their own laundry. They have been since they reached 12. I mean, occasionally if Aiden's like been busy, I'm like, give me your laundry. I'll get a load going for you or whatever. And my kids are very great because we don't use the dryer. We use the dryer as little as possible because it's the hugest money sucker for electricity.
Stop.
And we have where we have that new build in the garage. We have all the clothing racks set up out there, and then we strung up clothesline. And because it's so warm out there where we have the heater, the clothes are drying like that. And the kids have been really good about hanging up everything. The only thing I don't make them is their socks and underwear and their sheets. I do tell them you can throw those things because I figure we're only running them maybe twice a week, roughly. But but I feel like our David and I like said, like our hamper's full again. And I just got all caught up like 2 or 3 days ago. It's been 2 or 3 days. How can our hamper be full?
Like, I feel like I will wear this again tomorrow, but then we'll have more clothes than the kids do. And they do change their clothes every single day.
Yeah.
I don't know how we go through so many clothes.
I didn't get my shower till late today. So what I'm wearing has only been on a few hours. I will hang it back up. And if I don't wear it tomorrow, I'll wear it a day or two later. But I mean, like, it's not dirty.
I will sleep in this and I will wear it again tomorrow all day long. That's just how it These are my pajamas and my everyday clothes with big holes in them.
So yeah. Yes. Hello, Maryland. I think I forgot to say that. I know I have my little sheet here. If I write things down enough times, eventually it will stick. It's just, and I was laughing because I'm old school. I like writing things down, like my list, and I got a calendar all filled out all the way to almost May of video ideas I want to do.
That's awesome.
And I think and when everyone asks me what your secret is, I have no secret. Believe me, I am doing a lot of this by the skin of my, what is that expression? By the seat of my pants. I do everything that a lot of the people say I'm not supposed to do. Like I suppose, all those gurus and everything. But I know for me, my way is I like to be organized. I like to have things written down. I like to, if I have ideas, that's how I work. I'm never been a fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal.
I like writing things down, and I will create the lists and the video, whatever's, but I will not ever do them.
My list have list.
Yep.
So I have, I literally we have a list of all the things we want to get done on the house. I mean, they may not all get done this year, but I'm just like checking them off as we're going kind of thing. But yeah, that's just one of my, I actually literally, I have a notepad by my bed. I've said it before. I'll say I literally do, because sometimes I'll think of things for the channel, and I'll wake up. I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be a good. And I literally, my brain, and I think that's just part of my brain. It's just the way I am. It takes a lot for me to fall asleep some nights.
Me. I will lay my head on the pillow and be snoring.
That's David. David's snoring, and I'm like, how can you be snoring? It's been 20 seconds.
Time for bed.
And I say to him, like, how can you be snoring? It's literally, you haven't even been asleep. But the Veterans Affair gave him a sound machine to help him with, because he has tinnitus really bad from the hearing loss and his PTSD. And they gave him a sound machine, and it has like music, it has ocean waves. I don't know how anyone would find the seagulls. I'm like, who sleeps to that? That would not be. Anyway, we just have the one that sounds like a fan.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been sleeping so much better because I can't hear him snoring anymore.
Just put a pillow over his face.
I've been tempted many nights. There's been some nights.
I literally don't hear anything. When I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. I do not hear anything.
No, I've gotten so I'm used to it now. Like, I couldn't sleep the other night, and I woke up. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, we forgot to turn the machine on. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I need the stupid thing to sleep, because I always liked it dark and quiet. That's how I always used to like to sleep. And then I married a person who likes to have some kind of noise, and not very, he doesn't want light, but he said there's got to be something. Like, I like pitch black. Like, I would have my windows blacked out.
We have fun. I bet people drive by our house and are like, there's something fishy happening here. These people. But we're sleeping. All of our lights are on.
Yeah, no, and I'm not a light fan to begin with. It hurts my eyes.
Right now I have every light in my room on. It's usually just this lamp, and it's a very warm light. I don't like big bright lights.
This is the only thing on in the whole house right now. Like, literally, that room, the living room's pitch black, the kitchen's pitch black. It hurts my eyes.
I know every light in my house is on right now, because that's how it is until we go shut them off.
Oh, see, that gives me anxiety knowing that I could not handle that. Oh, I hang my clothes overnight on hangers. Yeah, I mean, we always hung a lot of our clothes up, because that's why our clothes last, because they don't go through the dryer, right? But this year we really, because we have the extra space, I actually didn't buy it. I got it off our Buy Nothing group, a bigger.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that clothes rack. I actually used it to hang herbs off of all summer. And then we have our other two, and then we are able to hang up a lot of stuff this year. And we hang it. I tell Aiden, I said, if you get your laundry done this morning, literally before bed tonight, they are going to be dry, and they are.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, in the summer, unless we have rain 8 days straight or something, everything's hung outside. Oh, the clothes. I love the smell of sheets.
I love laundry in general.
Yeah, just love it. So honestly, I hung out I even now on a good sunny day, I'll hang out the blankets that are all in the living room. I'll hang them out just to air out. Yeah, I'll put our duvet because I don't necessarily want to wash it, but I want to just air. We hang it all out, and the Amish actually hang their clothes out wet in the winter because the frost and the cold actually is a natural fabric softener. And believe it or not, they will actually be soft. And I'm like, oh, I'll be darned.
I mean, they're eventually going to dry. They're not just going to stay frozen forever or whatever.
Yeah. but my hand, but my hands get so cold, like trying to hang out, like things like that. So I've got a big one right. Yeah. Your dryer is one of your biggest like energy suckers. It really is. And where we have that electric fireplace going in the garage build to help keep it warm, I'm trying to be really careful about how much we're using other places. So, I just wanted to mention this morning, I managed to stop what could have been a catastrophe here at our house. I got up to let the chickens out, went out, let them out, came back up on the deck, and I noticed our hot tub was off. We just have one of those inflatable hot tubs we got at Costco.
Right.
And David winterized it, and it's been working. It's been staying hot. Now, granted, we haven't had like insanely cold weather, but those cold days we had a week or so ago, our hot tub stayed hot. So because of what he did. So anyway, I happened to notice it was off, and I'm like, I went over and like there was no code saying, hey, you got to change the filter. It was completely off. I thought that's weird. So I came in and I called David at work. I said, did you turn the hot tub off for some reason? He's like, no, why? I said, it's completely off. He said, maybe when I was shoveling, I hit the plug or something of the deck. Right. So I went and looked, and I went over and I saw, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And as I pick it up, it is sparking and smoking and melted, and the cord is melted. The prongs I'm like, I scream, and David's like, what's wrong? I'm like, geez. So I went and unplugged it from the power source, and then and these are rated for cold weather, for wet. Like one of the cords was $65. One of them. All 4 were toast.
Did you have like a whatever plan on it so you can like send it back? I would be pissed.
I told David, I said, that's like a couple $100 in outdoor safety. Like we really made sure we bought. And if I hadn't found it, I don't know what would have happened. We could have I said, David, he says, what's wrong? I said, it's sparking and it's smoking and the thing is like completely melted. He's like, what? And it was fine yesterday. So this all had to have happened like literally this morning. So I thank God I let the chickens out this morning and not Aiden, because he never would have noticed the hot tub wasn't on, right? Yeah. He wouldn't have noticed that. And normally he would let them out in the morning. So David came home and he inspected them. He said all the cords were fried. He said they're all fried. So we bought, and our chicken water thing is hooked up too, right? So now their water's if it gets cold, it's gonna freeze until we get. So he didn't realize how many were fried. So I didn't know the cord. I know. I didn't know there was anything wrong with the cord. I had no idea. That's why I did go turn it off before I unplugged everything. But when I picked it up, I'm like, gee, I dropped it because I was like, oh my God. So we had someone looking over us because like that could have been catastrophe. So just thought I'd mention for anybody who has what they think, might want to double check them, right? Just to make sure. We don't know if maybe because of all the wet we've had, just because they are deemed for wet, maybe it was just too much for it. Like maybe.
But like, are they sitting in wetness? Like,
they're up on the deck. They're not like in a puddle or anything.
I think
right?
Like prop cords that we spend $10 on at the farm.
Yeah, we bought they're
all winter in the snow, like buried in the snow, and they are fine.
So David bought one today, and it's a bright color, so we can see it too, which is
ours are orange.
And this one's like a neon blue. Like you can't miss the thing. He said this thing says it's good for like -40. You could put it in a pool. Like I said, okay, but he didn't realize
in our yard, like under the snow, it rains, it snows, it does everything, and they're totally
and like you said, it must have been one bad one, and it kind of like like kind of helped hurt the rest of them. We didn't realize how many, so he only got the one. So thank God it's not that cold, because right now we've got the hot tub hood heated back up because it dropped to like 77 Fahrenheit.
So is your hot tub ruined?
No. Oh no, that tripped it. They tripped the safety thing on that, so that was fine because I would have been in tears.
That's what I thought you meant, that the cords on the hot tub.
No, it was the thing the hot tub was plugged into.
I'm
So-
like picking hairy pepper hairs off of me. I'm not picking my nose.
So yeah,
Like,
it was
fine cat hairs are like
hairs.
kill them.
That's one of the reasons we can't have a cat, because Grace is allergic, and all those hairs like that
They're
kill her.
Finest, like and sometimes they get in my eyelashes or like in my lip gloss.
I mean, yeah, I mean they're fairly new. Like, we just bought these, and maybe it just had a flaw. It could have been anything, and it wasn't all of them. Unfortunately, all of them got destroyed. It was the one bad one that kind of chain reacted. So he bought one today because the kids had orthodontist appointments, and I actually stayed home. He took them. I can't tell you the last time I think that's happened. It was so quiet here for an hour and a half. I didn't even have the TV on. I worked on my YouTube stuff, but it was nice. I was able to record stuff with my microphone, which David got me this for Christmas. I freaking love it.
By the way, like, I don't remember which one I had playing in the background. I don't know if it was your most recent one, but I could hear that you had done a voiceover part, and it sounds good.
Yeah, I'm happy. And it's just a little razor one that Aiden recommended, I guess. And it was like, I think it was 40.
That's not bad.
That I didn't think that was bad, but yeah, I love it. Anyway, yeah, so he's got to buy another one so we can get the chicken waterer plugged in before tomorrow night when the temperature plummets, or otherwise we have to go out like every hour and break up all the ice and everything in the water. But yeah, so I was just like,
the heated waterers are the best, just the best.
Oh, we had a heated pet bowl the last couple of winters, but now that we have more chickens, so we got the big giant thing that's a heated one. And the best thing else we bought, we spent a little money on, but we invested in it, is the giant chicken feeder that's all covered. So none of the feed gets wet. They have to put their heads in to eat. They all know how to do it. And it holds a whole sack, a 50-pound bag.
Our chickens would just eat until it's gone.
Oh, see, ours don't. Like, I was worried about that too, but maybe because I also take out like sunflower seeds and things like that. So
I just think that that's what they would do. Like, and so I feel like we'd just be wasting our feed.
Yeah. And I will say too, where we've been juicing, I never even thought about the benefits of all that pulp going to the chickens.
Yeah.
Like,
we have
the
scraps, like so many scraps all the time.
Yeah, it helps us with the garbage because they also we have to pay per bag here. Our taxes
broke just in garbage, and
our taxes only cover 40%.
Oh my goodness!
So they have to come up with the other 60% to pay for garbage, and we went up to. Are you ready for this? $3.25 a bag.
I would not ever live in Canada, ever.
That's not everywhere.
I would not live in Trenton, Canada.
When we moved here, we were paying $2.50. When we moved back here the second time, because Dave and I lived here before. Grace was actually born here, and then we moved to Nova Scotia, and then we came back. So they said they had to because the cost, and they're hoping to see this. They want it to make it so people recycle more. Tanya, we believe me, we are lucky. As much David has us down to 1 bag a week. We are very fortunate.
Trash?
Yeah,
we go through like 2 bags a day, at least. We go through the little bags.
We'll go through the little bags in a day, but you can put like the little bags into a giant bag, so that only counts as 1 tag. But like, we have such problems now with people illegal dumping, and they think
I would probably consider it. Like,
it's so bad.
How much is our big dumpster? Like $60 a month?
Oh, double that.
Oh, it's like $120 a month. But listen, the big dumpsters that are behind like the stores, that's what we have. We produce so much trash. It's so ridiculous. But no, if we did it by bag.
Now, if you need to get rid of, say, an old mattress, like we had 2 mattresses we had to get rid of, we had to pay $40 a piece.
Oh no, we burn ours.
So David said, David, well, we did buy 2 burn barrels at the end of fall last year. And I told David, I said, it's harder this time of year, but once the weather's nicer, I'm going to start taking stuff out to them. And then on the weekends, you can burn it. And then we won't even have maybe 1 bag anymore.
Right. We used to burn like most of our trash, anything that wasn't like glass or metal.
Yeah.
But then we got dogs that are in the backyard, and I'm not going to burn my trash in the front yard up by the. And so it just became something that we couldn't realistically do. Or if it was raining and we needed to have our trash in the burn barrel until it was like done raining, the dogs would get into it. And so we had to change it.
Yeah.
We didn't have a grocery or a garbage pickup for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
We burned it.
When we lived in Nova Scotia, you literally could put anything out for garbage day. Anything. And because it was part of our taxes and they took it. Here, nope. You even have to call them and say, look, I have some large things to get rid of. You can take it to the dump yourself if you want. Now that we have a trailer, we probably would be able to do that. And I don't know if it's any cheaper, but you have to call them. They say, okay, here's a special tag you have to put on, and they're going to be picking it up Tuesday between 7 and 11. So you've got to have it out there or you're going to miss your pickup. But that's the thing, Alana. Like it's so bad here. I mean, really bad. Like in our conservation area where we like to go hiking, the Bleasdale Boulder, we call it. It's this giant, great big boulder thing. And it's beautiful trails. Last winter, somebody dumped 2 couches, several mattresses, and just bags of garbage there.
I mean, let's say that those people like legitimately didn't have the money to get rid of those things. Like, what are they supposed to do then?
Yep.
They're filth.
So what's really bad, though, this is disgusting, is our thrift store downtown. You used to be able to leave things outside underneath their area for donations. Then people started leaving their literal garbage there. And the ladies came in one morning and someone had dumped 10 bags of cat litter.
No.
Oh, yeah. So now they only have certain times a day you can donate, and they had to put up cameras because people were dumping at night when they were closed, and they were literally dumping their garbage there.
I'm crazy about cat litter because I know how much trash we produce, and I know that we're filling up landfills and like we're contributing to the problem.
I
So
know.
our cat litter is not clay, it's not whatever other, it's walnut shells, and it's literally $1 billion, and we use it, but I feel better that that's what's going into the land, instead of the regular cat litter.
Well, we are allowed to burn as long as there's no burn ban on because there hasn't been enough water, which hasn't been a problem here. And we aren't allowed to burn certain toxic things. Now, someone needs to tell our neighbor 2 doors down because he burns. I have the toxic stuff sometimes. We literally cannot go outside, and I worry about my birds because he is, I don't know what they're burning. It's probably plastics and stuff. We don't do that. We recycle the plastic. We recycle the cardboard. We recycle the paper, all that. And we could burn the cardboard, which sometimes we do because sometimes we miss the recycling and we've got boxes all flattened out there. But I'm talking about like anything the chickens basically can't eat or I can't throw into the garden or whatever. Then it's not toxic. We don't do that. We aren't. But other than that, we are allowed to. And you have to have a burn barrel and stuff too. You can't just we like I said, we do pay very high taxes and they're going up more. Yay. But they said it only is covering 40% of the garbage cost. And what makes me mad is we have had, I think they said something like in the last 2 years or so, over 10,000 people moved to Trenton. So if you got 10,000 more people here, granted, not all of them are paying property taxes, but you know what I mean? Like why more people are using the services, but you got more people paying into, because all the houses that have been built, those are all new property tax paying people. I don't understand. You got more people paying. So why? Yeah, I just think it's a bunch of bull. But anyway, we got a couple more minutes. We're going to wrap up. Hopes and dreams. This is a funny one because if you could have anything, like not even, let's just play fun first. We won't do the reality dream. Someone comes to you and says, you can have whatever you want. What would you pick?
I don't even know. I would like to buy both properties on each side of us, which is a realistic thing, sort of, because I don't think either one of them will ever sell them. But I also don't want to move ever. So I don't know what I would do.
Moving stinks. And we're going to do it again. I always told Dad, like if someone came and said, like, if we won like millions and millions of dollars, I literally would buy thousands of acres. And
A lot of work. I would not.
no, wait. And I would make it a homesteading suburb, but the suburbs would be, everybody would have at least 50 acres themselves. So you wouldn't be
come to each one of the kids and we'd have our own. Like,
that's, I mean, that's what I would, I would have a heated greenhouse. I'm with Mary Lynn there.
Yeah. And have like a better barn. Maybe not. I don't want it to look better. I like mine looking the way it looks, but the inside of it, I would like it to be more like newer.
I would love a tractor. Oh my gosh, I would love a tractor. Have I mentioned I would like a tractor? I think I've said that a few times tonight, but I would love a tractor. I just know with some of the stuff we have to do, it would make it go so much faster.
If
to the point,
properties on either side of us, first of all, we wouldn't have to worry about this dude and his driveway problems that he has with us, or him in general. We would be able to like rearrange everything here, like where the house is and the driveway is and like all the things. We could just make it the way we want it to be.
Yeah. See, Dave Knight, a new John Deere with a cab and AC. Man, you never leave.
It's like driving a Prius now. Jake has tractors at work because they thawed and like man stuff out in the fields. And there's literally like computer screens and like it's all fancy inside of them.
I know they have like satellite radio in them now and everything.
Air conditioning, heaters.
I retire and buy a real homestead and have the help to run it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have the help certain times.
I would have water ran to the barn.
Oh, yeah. I would have electricity, water. We have electricity. Water. Yeah. Yeah. See, these are my people.
Same. I would also do that.
Yeah. And we would definitely have a milk cow. Yes. I would have a beef cow that we would raise.
For those things, if I could buy each one of the properties on either side of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I would still homestead. Even if if we won the lottery, we would still homestead. We would just homestead bigger. Fancier. Oh, we have the fanciest tractor on the stem.
We could be the people that were like, how do they have that stuff? Things.
Yeah. Homesteading is a lot of work and money. How do they do that?
That's not homesteading.
I literally, my dream would be, I'd love to have a place where I could have a pumpkin patch in the fall, a Christmas tree lot at Christmas time.
Lots, not the flowers.
Yeah, I'd be able to have like a stand where I would, I mean, I know I could do that to some extent here, and I have tried, but our driveway is hard because I'm grateful we have a long driveway because that puts us a lot further from our busy road, but it's hard to have things at the end there.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? In a stand. But I'd love to have my own Christmas tree lot at Christmas time. And I mean, we could have themes and Santa visit certain weekends when families would come and cut their trees.
Like, you ever watch the roll-offs, like the little...
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah. You work your butt off all summer and fall. And then once the Christmas season's over, you are nothing until like April and May.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And I would love that. Like I would love that. And I'd love to have my own little store on our farm property that sold, not just...
what I would do? I would hire someone to edit all of my videos. I would hire someone to do the back end of everything. Maybe even be like Gary Vee and hire someone to follow me around and film me even. Like, I don't want to do any of that part of it. I want to like give that content to people, but I don't want to create it. Like, I just want to live it. Someone else do it for me. Like, record it and edit it for me.
I'm such a control freak. And I say this with all the love in my heart. I am a control freak. I don't know if I could ever handle, I would love to have somebody giving me more tips. And I would love to have somebody help me with a website because I've had to give mine up because I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I
really deleted my about page on my website. So when people go to my website, nightfallhomestead.com, it brings up my most recent posts. I don't want them to see that. I want them to see like my about section and like sign up for my newsletter and whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I message the host like, where is my about page? Where did it go? And they're like, oh, on this day at this time you deleted it. I'm like, what? Well, how do I get it back? And they're like, you have to create a new one. And that literally took me days.
The only thing I did was I did renew my domain name. Google said, you know, and because it's only like $20 for the year. So I did reserve that just so if I ever somehow miracle I can get a website going again, I still have my domain name.
Right.
But I just, and it broke my heart because I always wanted one, but I just could not figure it out. Like when I go to other people's websites, it's like, this is what I want my website to be. And why, how do I get, I just couldn't do it. It was above my,
like provider. So like, for instance, WordPress updated the other day and it was telling me to back up my files and update to the newest version of WordPress. Like, I don't know who you think you're talking to. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So them and they do it for me. But as far as like out page, like, of course I have
I would love to have the money to. I looked into getting it's expensive to have somebody do a website for you and then paying oh man, is it? I get why they're so expensive now trying to do it myself. But I don't,
what people need to do is be a web designer. Like for sure that is going to be big money.
Yeah, I just can't afford it right now. So I hope I could do that. I would have a she shed that has heat, lights, and I could keep all my craft stuff out there and all my editing, like all my stuff for editing, everything that would be out there. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I love reading everybody's.
A rustic campsite would be awesome. I want one corn crib gazebos. I would really like one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wanted a blog, but I also wanted other things on there, like recipes and things that would take you to. I'm proud of what I did get done because, quite frankly, I don't know how I managed to attach my YouTube videos to it. But I just, it wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. I'm like, this is not what I wanted. And they say, oh, it's so easy. You just push this, drop this here, you put this here.
Not easy. It's so hard.
Thank you. Yeah, we're wrapping up too because it's after 9 my time. But yeah, thank you so much. It's always fun when Tanya comes. Like I always write in my thing. I can guarantee you it will be a good time. So I have 2 retired school portables. One is my craft studio. Oh yeah, that would be so awesome. I could have like half it could be recording and editing part, and the other half could be on my sewing machine and my craft stuff. Oh man, that would be, it sounds amazing. I know, but you notice how I didn't say I would get like a bigger house and all that because
I don't want a bigger house.
No, I remember Celine Dion one time was on, I think Oprah years ago. And when her and her husband were first married or whatever, they bought this gigantic mansion. I think it was in Florida. And like you literally had intercoms in every room, she said, so you could talk. And she said they lived in it for, I think, a year. And she's like from a very like humble family here in Canada and Quebec, like very, hardworking, not a lot of money, a lot of kids in the family. And she said she hated it. It was so much house. She said she goes, I know there were parts of that house I probably was never in. And
why would you want to pay for that?
So she sold it all. And the place they have in Vegas is big, but a lot of her brothers and sisters and their families live with her.
Yeah. That's good.
But she said it's still not as big as that. It was more house than they ever needed. It was, and I'm like, that's like me. And I would hire, I always say, I'd hire someone to do my housework. But the truth of the matter is I don't think I'd want a stranger in my home touching my stuff.
I would hire someone to do it, but like, I would still want them to have a reason to have to clean. Like, I don't want them to, these empty rooms to just sit and collect up.
Yeah.
So like the room I was using, then sure, I'll hire somebody to come clean my house, Oh,
I'm just like, absolutely. Absolutely. She said the University of Saskatchewan, that's a province. Saskatchewan, the province or the city? I'm still horrible. I've only lived here 30 years, Lynn. Saskatchewan is in Manitoba, right? No. David? It's the province. I was right the first time. Saskatchewan is a province here, and their university is having a bunch of free gardening courses coming up.
Awesome.
Yes, absolutely. You can post a link, and I'll copy it and try and post it. Yeah, province next to Alberta. I stink at geography.
Me too.
I have lived here for 30 years, and I ask the kids, because the kids actually know more than me because they've learned it in school. I'll say to them, "What province is that by again?" Because I know down east. I know down east. I know my down east provinces because we are from down east. But I'm so bad at geography. I just my subjects in school were anything that was creative. English class, I could write you an essay.
Art, music, and lunchtime, and PE.
Yeah, but science, math, geography, all that, Lynn struggled.
Same.
But I absolutely. By the way, Molly was saying that $20 an hour. I don't know if you saw that. It was Washington. So it's in the States where $20 an hour minimum wage.
Minimum wage?
But I heard it's very expensive state to live in.
It has to be because our minimum wage is less than $10 here. Like, yeah, less. Way less. Like $3 less.
Yeah. And I mean, your guys are close to British Columbia, which is, I think it's the most expensive province to live in. And maybe wrong. Ontario is going to be getting pretty close to that, though. It's getting pretty expensive to live here. So, which is one of the reasons we want to. It's just never felt like home. Like, even though when we bought this house, I said, "Oh, we finally bought a home after 20 years. You know, we finally got our home. We'll never move again. This is it." In the back of my head, I always heard, like and I'd be like, go away. Like, you're crazy. We're never moving again. Never say never. You know, that I love the expression, man plans, God laughs. You know?
I don't want to again, like, ever. I never want to move again. But I also don't want to live by this stinking loud highway.
Yeah. Like, and I mean, honestly, if you had asked us, if you had asked me 5 years ago, we would move, I would say no, absolutely. But again, the back of the thing would be going, like,
right now, the only place for Landon to play is in the front yard, which is right by the highway. Like, it just isn't ideal. It's just not.
Yeah, for me, it's just like, it never used to be this noisy. We have gotten, and everyone complains about it. Like, if we do talk to any neighbors occasionally when we're out walking the dogs or whatever, everyone complains about how busy our street has become the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's just, I've said this before, and I'm sure you're going to hear me say it again. The older I get, the less noise tolerant I become. I don't know what.
Like, we just want to be in your yard, enjoying whatever. And my biggest thing is, which is silly because I'm outside enjoying the outside, but I usually have a podcast or a book or music on my phone, and I cannot hear it because of how loud the highway is. And it's not just sometimes a car goes by. It's
always
all day long.
Always.
It sucks.
Yeah, David and I realized we did not sit out once on our front porch last summer.
Oh, we have an awesome
not once.
Part. We just don't ever go out there because it's so loud.
And I said to Dad, I didn't have my tea out on the front porch once last summer. Not even in the earlier mornings, because even the earlier mornings, it's just so noisy. And I think we counted. It's like, I think the longest we've gone was like 16 seconds or something like that before another car came. And that was rare.
Yep.
And that's like on a Sunday when it's a little bit slower.
It's on Sundays here, but it picks up still, even late Sunday morning into that or whatever.
And and like David said, he goes, it's just like, I don't want to sound morbid, but the older you get, you start realizing, okay, we don't have a lot more time left anymore. We're not 20, you're getting, and the time you do have left, you want to spend it in peace and right. Stress-free and just, and enjoy. And I guess that's part of it. I don't want to sound ungrateful because I am so happy that we do have a house.
Same. If I'm here forever, that's awesome. I'll be totally happy with that. But
yeah,
I would prefer not to live by the highway.
And I think this comes for any down easters who are still in the chat. When you are from down east, it's something about it. It's in you. And you if you do ever leave, most usually end up coming back. Even my cousin who left 30 years ago for BC, they're moving back to New Brunswick in 2 years. They bought their property and having their house built this fall.
That's awesome.
There's something about it. I don't know if it's the ocean that gets into us and we just want to go back. There's just something about it. And it's not the same when you live other places. There's just something about down east, and it calls you back. It does. And I think that's the other part. We still do have family down east, and it would be nice in the latter half of our lives that we actually get to be with them again, because we've never been close to any of them. We've never lived close enough. The closest we lived was when we were in Nova Scotia, and that was still a 6 to 8 hour drive, depending on the traffic. So, I mean, and you think, oh, that's still not bad. But when you have little children and you're broke, you can't go that often. And we were broke in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia broke us. It was very expensive to live there. Heating and electricity bills were sky high, like sky high. I literally would see my light bill come in the mail and not want to open it and literally be sick to my stomach because I did not want to see what it was going to be. So
that's not good at all.
No. So, which is one of the reasons we won't, as much as we love Nova Scotia, that's why we're looking for New Brunswick. But I just, I never thought we'd move again. I really didn't. I thought, that's it. We are never moving again. This is it. We never have to put up with that. But I think we'll get rid of a lot of stuff before we go. I don't know if we'll move with all of our stuff this time, because some of it, we can be a little bit more honest about what we really need.
Right.
So, and what we're hoping is we'll find something ahead, whether we build or whatever. Dave and I can start take long weekends, drive down, drop off some stuff, come back, and then do one big move with a U-Haul when we have to take all the bigger stuff. But that's the other thing. If we build, that means that either we have to see the people who buy our house, we have to say, okay, will you let us have like a 4 to 5 month closing date? Which probably not. So we might have to take some of our profit and buy like a used camper, live in that while the house is being built, put all our stuff in storage. Like there's a lot of things to think about.
Or is that expensive to like rent an apartment?
Yeah, it is very. And it's hard to find a place that would let you only rent for like 3 to 6 months. Like they'd want a year, right? So that would be hard. And and then we have our dogs.
Yeah.
Well, we might only have one then, but who knows? Like, because Puggy's 13 this year.
Same as 3 when you're renting,
Yeah. So we'd have that, and we've rented. I don't know if we could ever go back, even for short term. I don't know if I could go back to that again.
That's awesome.
So got to run. Yes, you probably already left. So yeah, you can post a link to that garden if you or if you can even send it to me on my email here, and I will.
Community tab.
I'll post it in my community tab and a few other places too.
Yep.
And well, thank you, Tanya, for coming on. You saved me from being deaf. No, I'm like, what am I going to do next Wednesday? So
I definitely, like, you asked me if I wanted to be on one of your lives, and I was like, yeah. And then that was all. Like, we didn't talk about it. So I was just like, I never would have remembered that.
Yeah. So no, I'm trying to be better about, I know consistency is the key, but lives are hard too, because I've just spent 2 hours not with my husband too, right? In the evenings when he's worked all day.
I'm surprised he hasn't fallen asleep and started snoring. I would have to throw that at him.
I'm really surprised. I don't know. He can't be asleep because I'd hear him snoring.
Same. Jake would be snoring.
So I'll just say, everyone have a great, I still have to edit my video so I can get it up for tomorrow. Oh geez. I did.
Goodbye is somebody, you would pay somebody to do that part for.
What I filmed today, I have to edit. That's the other thing. I edit every day when I'm doing the pantry challenge, so I can keep up with it. I have to do every 3 days, because if not, they're going to be hour-long videos.
Yeah, and you would just never stop editing, and it's butt cheeks. I hate editing.
Yeah.
I maybe hate editing more than I hate making the website.
But I'm trying to keep them 30 minutes or less. and it is getting a little bit easier because like sometimes for breakfast, I just have an English muffin. So I'll just say that, for breakfast, I just had an English muffin. I'm not going to show you all toasting my English muffin.
I'm having a banana for breakfast.
Yeah. I might just mention it. Like I'm not showing it. So that helps lower but there was a lot of every recipe is a new recipe so that takes a little bit longer because I kind of want to show you, it a bit. So it's a lot. I like it, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So good night, everyone. Have a great week. Man, I hope you all, if you got any bad weather coming, I hope you stay safe. Remember to make sure that, I love how they tell everybody, go to the store, make sure you have things. And when you're a homesteader and a preparer, you don't got to do that. We're good.
Milk and something else.
Milk. Yeah. I mean, worst comes to worst, we have our convenience stores that are 5 minutes from us that we can get milk from. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but if you save the gas from going in town, it probably is about the same.
I'll pay for the convenience.
Yeah. So everyone have a great week. We will see you next Wednesday, and make sure you look for the video tomorrow, probably evening. And the announcement for the collab that Tanya actually is part of, that I am hosting next month, I think I might be able to talk about it next Wednesday. It looks like everything is just about finalized. The schedule, I'll be sending out a final email. So maybe I can finally spill the beans about it. So have a good night, everybody.
Night.